Hi, and welcome to Naturally Kim's Knitting. I'm Kim, and this is a podcast all about knitting and spinning and dyeing yarn, all which I do from my home outside of Lima, Ohio. So I have in my family my hubby, Randy, my puppy dog, Ginger, my kitty cat, Purdy, and myself. So this is a rather weird one. Oops, wrong thing. Because I apologize for last week. I don't know what happened, but the video didn't go out for some odd reason. So this is a combination one. So I'm calling this episode 160 or 161. So anyways, I don't know how long this one will be. I have had such a hectic week. Well, let me go on with the intro stuff first. Today is April 8th, and like I said, this is episode 161. You can find me on Ravelry as NapiersKnits and as Naturally Kim's Knitting. On Etsy, I have a store, NapiersKnits, and then on Instagram, I'm knittin_Kim. And then you can find me on Blogger, YouTube, and WordPress as Naturally Kim's Knitting. Now I'm going to talk about why this is a wacky week. We put our house on the market on April 1st. Since then, we've had 12 showings of the house. So, bless our late neighbors' sons, because they told us that anytime the house is being shown, I can come over there. And I can just hang out until the house is done, which is nice in a way, because I can see who's here for a second look, who's here for a first, or whatever. And I have it's so funny, because I'm an NCIS fan, and they talk about their to-go bag. And in fact, I think my son-in-law has one, and anybody who's in the military basically knows what a to-go bag is. I have a to-go bag. And then I have things for my dog. She's not crazy about this whole thing, because when we're sitting over at my neighbor's, she looks out the window and she sees strange people in her backyard. But she is getting more and more used to it. Now, because of the whole showing thing, I am recording this on Monday, not Tuesday, because we happen to have a house showing tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And I don't know what that means for when I get home. We could have another one scheduled. I mean, I had one today, and then our realtor called to say, well, he had one that he was going to start at 1, and then the other one was supposed to be 1:45. Well, the 1:45 canceled, so he was going to move the 1 o'clock to 1:45. I said, no problem. Then he called me to tell me that there's going to be an overlap, because now there is a 2 o'clock showing. So just because I'm having a 9 o'clock showing tomorrow morning does not mean I will not have one at 10. And, you know, the way I see it, the more people we have seeing the house, the more likely we are to sell it. So, as much as I've loved this house, I've raised 2 kids in this house and several dogs and cats, I'm ready to live in a one-story house. So, now, to go on with other things. Even though you didn't hear the announcements of the winners for the, I forgot what month it was, for the March finished object, I sent emails or PMs through Ravelry to the winners. So if you didn't receive a PM, you didn't win, probably. Well, I know you didn't, because the ones who did already responded. So I'm sorry, but we do have the April one open and going, and we have our sweater one going. Yay! It's going to be ending in a couple weeks. Wow. Wait till you hear my fun times with the sweater. Okay. I can tell you, I'm kind of going through this. If you want to know the rules or anything for any of the knit-alongs or craft-alongs, just go ahead and go to the Ravelry, Naturally Kim's Knitting Ravelry group, podcast group, and under those threads, they list the rules. I can't concentrate today. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. Anyways, now for the fun stuff. Well, I might as well tell you before you even ask, because yes, I was supposed to have the throwback cardigan done, and I would have had it done, except silly me, I did my gauge right. but I picked the wrong size. So it was way too big on me. So I have almost got it all torn out. If you've ever worked color work, you know tearing out color work is not fun. But, and I'm going to start it again in the correct size. I have highlighted the pattern for the correct size. Before I've drawn circles, I'll draw boxes, all kinds of things. Well, now it's highlighted. So hopefully I will not mess up. And I'm sorry if you hear my puppy woofing. She's very nervous right now. She knows I don't do this in the afternoon for one thing, and she knows people have been seeing her house for another, and she just doesn't know what's going on. So I apologize, but, she's a sweetheart. Okay, I did finish, and I showed this last week, but you guys didn't see it. I did finish a chemo cap. Ta-da! I realized my lighting's not great because I didn't turn on the one I usually use. Sorry about that. But this was some of the yarn that I had left over from my first dye job ever, and I did it for fall colors. Sorry, me and my tags. And I just decided to do a knit one, purl one hat, and it is so soft. Then I had yarn left over from that, so have I decided yet on this? Right now it's a knit one, purl one. I've only got as far as the band. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the same pattern or if I'm going to change it up. I haven't decided because honestly, this has not even been looked at since I recorded last week. It's been sitting back in my drawer because I've not had time. I've not had time. What can I say? Then I can't show you the socks. So you know what that means. That these are going to be a design that I'm making. And if you remember, I'm making a pair of, left my cable needle in it. I'm making a pair of socks for my daughter-in-law. She picked out the yarn. So I just had to come up with the pattern design for it. And actually I actually tore these out because I had a pattern, but my patterns have to speak to me. They have to have a story behind them, and that one didn't. So I've come up with another pattern that does have a story, and you will see it when I have completed the socks. So this is the color, and this is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Flagstone Heather. And that is for my daughter-in-law. Ta-da! There's one thing done. While I'm on a sock roll, I might as well show you. Have I got to work on these? I don't even remember how much I've got to work on yet. I think these are ready for heels. Oh no, they still have a little ways to go. Sorry about that. I'm just not thinking straight. Yeah, I haven't worked on these since last week because I remember now in the office last Wednesday, I was busy with other things and I didn't get a chance to work on my socks. And so they are just as long as they were 2 weeks ago. This is the chroma fingering in the wildflower color. And no, the socks don't match. They're not supposed to. And I could tell because this sock was about this length last week. So they're about the same. I mean, they're about where they were last week. So, I know. That's why I said it's going to be a short podcast. Oh, my friends. You know, when you go to sell a house, your life gets busy, but not busy knitting. And guess what? I have one more thing on my needles. I will have two, hopefully, next week, because I do want to start the throwback sweater when I get this one done. But this is the Knitting Expat Designs. Hi, Mina. I gave her the link to this. This is her. I knew I'd forget it. I'm used to recording in the afternoon or in the mornings. The not so little nugget pullover, because she did one for her little nugget. And I hope that you can see how the colors blend into each other here. And guess what? I just started the ribbing while the house was being shown a minute ago. And this is where the sleeves go, and the sleeves striping will match the sweaters. I am so happy. Oh, I love this. Oh, it is a beautiful sweater. And you can make it any colorway or any, if you want to make it solid, it works because this is just a stockinette stitch sweater, but it is so beautiful. And yeah, I love it. It's made out of fingering weight yarn. And I had these colors left over from other things, and so I had enough. Isn't that amazing? I just love this. I should show you. Yeah, to show you how much I've worked on this. Since it's almost straight stockinette, other than the ribbing, this is my take with me project that I take with me. Sorry, the dog thought she heard knocking. I thought I heard knocking. That I take with me when I go over to my neighbors. And this is where I was last week. And that is how much I've gotten done. I love this. And those are all different. Oh, I'm sorry. The red fox and the veil were from the socks I made for my father-in-law. Everything else is different colors of Knit Picks tweed. So very nice. Now, while I'm on the topic of the knitting expat designs, I have a thought. Starting May 1st, we would do a knitting expat design knit along. She has so many beautiful patterns. She has hats, shawls, sweaters, little kids sweaters, mitts, all kinds of things. Take a look if you haven't. I've already talked to Mina, and she's excited. She's going to try to promote it on her podcast too. So starting May 1st, get your knitting expat design ready already that you're going to do. I think I know what I'm going to do. And we will start knitting away. Oh, I tell you, many things are making me happy today. Oh my goodness, I just saw what I look like. I apologize. Like I said, I've been waiting for the house to be shown, and so I didn't look at my hair when I came back in. I'm sorry. Finished objects. I showed you the chemo cap. Didn't have any questions for me this week. If you do have any, either put them at the bottom of the show notes or feel free to put them. There is a thread for questions on the Ravelry group. Okay, fun stuff. You missed me going on and on about this last week. Just a minute. Just some ice water. So, knit picks. You know I do love knit picks. But I don't have any money because I'm saving for this wonderful trip that I'm taking with my friends Janie and Jenny and Linda in October. So, last month they had country tweed on sale. Oh, I was heartbroken. But I'm even more so this month because they have all their bare yarn and bare roving 20% off. And I may not use knit picks all the time for dyeing, but I do when it's just for me or something. Oh, I am heartbroken. I do like my knit picks bare yarn. They have some nice they have some nice sock yarn to dye, and they also have, well, all their yarn is nice to dye, but then I got into dyeing some of their roving, and it is just as nice. So if you're interested in trying to do some Kool-Aid dyeing, or if you want to make the dive in to do acid dyeing, which I don't do anymore, I like the Kool-Aid and the food coloring now. This is a great opportunity to get some yarn relatively inexpensive. And you can get it by the skein, or you can get it by the bulk, which is, I believe, 10 skeins in a pack. What can I say? Okay, so resolutions for this week, or this month, this year. It's a long one. What can I tell you? So, what have I added? Well, I have 4 pairs of socks for the soup kitchen, and I have 9 chemo caps done. And I've already done my shawl. So I've pretty much, that's up to date on that. So now we're getting down to the what I've been reading, watching, and listening to. Well, of course, I've been listening to my Critical Role. This is a Critical Role shirt. If you watch Critical Role, would know Scanlon was one of the people on it, on the first campaign. But then I've been watching the Knitting Expat, and I've been watching, well, Inside Number 23 hasn't done anything like, she's had a baby. So it's not she hasn't done anything. She's put her priorities in the right place. And I've watched, oh, I'm having a senior moment. I can't think what else I've watched. Of course, I've told you I watched NCIS. I stream through either Netflix or Prime. And so I like the fact that they have things like Royal Pains, which I love to watch, Merlin, oh, NCIS. Oh, and then I came across a show that I guess this was a British show before, and it's Wild at Heart. And oh, okay, way back when I watched Kiss Angel on PBS, and one of the priests they had in Kiss Angel is the vet in Wild at Heart. And so it took me a little bit of looking at him saying, how do I know you? And then I finally gave up and looked it up. And I went, oh, how could I forget? I love Wild at Heart. This family goes from Bristol, England, down to Africa, originally to take a monkey that shouldn't have been a pet, but was made a pet up there by somebody, and it got brought into his vet practice, and his wife gave him a look, which I don't know what that look is because I can't make it, and they went down to Africa to take the monkey back, and they found an old game reserve, game park, thank you, but it's not for game, it's wild animals. And they decided they were going to stay and give it a chance. Oh, I love that show. I love that show. I can tell it's going to be one I'll watch again and again. In fact, I'm to the point where Prime doesn't have, Prime only goes through season 2, I think. And then they said, well, you can watch it for free on, I don't know if it's Tubi or Tubby. I thought, well, let me check this out because there's got to be a hidden cost. And I checked it out, and no, there isn't. You could watch a lot of shows on Tubi too. And so that's where I'm finishing watching my Wild at Heart. And oh, it's so good. Okay, enough of that. But I have read two good books. One is a fiction, one's a nonfiction. The nonfiction is called Calm, Cool, and Connected. And when I first saw this, no, I can't say that. But when I first got the book, because I did request the book, I thought, I can't do this because it's about your life connected to the internet or electronic screens. And it does give you a few guidelines to go by so you're not spending so much time in front of the screen, such as watch my podcasts. They're usually less than half an hour. But, making a purpose. Make sure you put people first or go outside and do activities and things like that. Very good. Then I read Murder in a Country Garden, and it's one of those cozy mysteries, and I just needed something light that I could read between showings and all this. It was so good. I just reviewed it today. And if you're interested in reading more about those, just go down to my link in the show notes, except for under the podcast show notes, and I'll try to put them on Ravelry. And it'll take you to my book reviews, and you can read about them, and you can get them both at Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and I'm sure those of you who are across the seas, you have your own bookstores that you could probably get them at, or I'm sure at libraries. Okay, my shop hasn't changed. I haven't added anything new. I probably will not until I move, because setting things up to dry and everything, we've had some kids come over and visit, and I'm afraid things might happen to the yarn. And I don't want to make it a thing that or waylays kids, I guess. My kitty cat has been enough of a temptation, and I could tell yesterday that some kids did try to pet her because I had my bed made in such a way, And I noticed that it wasn't quite made that way. And my kitty was very nervous. But I don't think, there weren't any kids that came to the house today, so I think she was pretty safe. I'm sorry. I feel like this should be a naturally, or Kim is moving again podcast. I'm sorry about that. I think that's it. Actually, I had more to say than I thought I did. Well, that's because of Wild at Heart and, you know. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope all of your crafting is successful. And if you do make mistakes, I hope it's easy to fix and they're small, unlike my throwback cardigan. I love each and every one of you. Big, big hugs. And I hope I can talk to you next week. Bye-bye.